Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes are yet to sign a contract beyond 2023, and while both sides have been reassuring us that everything is a done deal, at this point, one couldn't help but wonder, why is Hamilton stalling the new commitment to Mercedes so much? If everything is clicking in their minds and should be solved over a coffee break, as Wolff said, why is Mercedes reluctant to pay Hamilton what he wants? Turns out the issue is Hamilton's demands beyond his retirement with Mercedes, a role that the Brackley-based squad is not ready to commit to just yet. Could this be the deal breaker between both sides? Lewis Hamilton joined Mercedes back in 2013 after replacing Schumacher, the man who pushed the team in the right direction thanks to the help of Niki Lauda. But had it not been for Hamilton, the team wouldn't have reached what they did, winning 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships and 7 consecutive Drivers' Championships, 6 of which went to Hamilton and 1 to Rosberg in 2016 in the infamous rivalry. Nonetheless, Hamilton's effect on Mercedes is like no other, and while he's still in pursuit of the 8th record-breaking championship, the recent struggles from Mercedes are delaying the contract signature to the extent that Hamilton is already thinking about the afterlife of his F1 career with Mercedes. It's no secret that Hamilton wants to stay with Mercedes even when his F1 career ends, and that's something that he's spoken about numerous times. When talking about it, the 7-time world champion said, "Right now, I'm planning to be here and racing for a decent chunk of time. You've just got to explore all avenues in the sense of how you can continue to expand your partnership with such a great organisation. It's not as easy as just saying, go ahead, and I don't have to be in a rush." What Hamilton is effectively speaking about is the ambassadorial role with the team, one that Mercedes is not willing to commit to just yet due to the fact that they have bigger fish to fry right now, getting back on top of their game. It seems like the amount of money that Hamilton requested from Mercedes regarding his F1 contract is not a topic of discussion, and while he did demand the £15 million that he would have acquired this year had he won the championship, a scenario that, while not completely dead, isn't looking like the most realistic one right now, to be involved on top of the £35 million that he's receiving regularly is not an issue for Mercedes. So, the team doesn't mind paying Hamilton £50 million for having him for at least one more year in the team, but they do mind paying him a staggering $245 million in the course of 10 years, with him serving the ambassadorial role in Mercedes. This is where the clash happens, and this could definitely be the deal breaker for Hamilton, as he's looking to complete various missions throughout his life after finishing his F1 career, with being the ambassador for the team likely sitting at the top of his wish list. But requiring nearly $250 million for this role is certainly a question that Mercedes would have a massive challenge answering, and the fact that he's the most accomplished driver for the team only goes to make things even more filthy in terms of negotiating the finer details of the commitment. The general opinion is that Hamilton and Mercedes will eventually agree to a contract, but one that might not be according to the 7-time world champion's wishes, as he'll be requested to lower down his standards. Now, why would Mercedes do such a thing? It's a cruel world that we're living in, and the drop of Mercedes' performance goes to show that as well. From 2022 onwards, Hamilton found a very unusual resistance in Russell, who is expected to be second fiddle to the 7-time world champion and the next Bottas, while Hamilton tried to achieve what he believed was manipulated away from him, his 8th record-breaking championship. But now, with Russell as their potential next leader, Mercedes have nothing to fear, and this is the first time during Hamilton's career that the team is the one with the stronger cards in their hands, and it's not him. Up until this point, the team even chose him when the fiasco with Rosberg happened and the German was forced to retire due to the external pressure applied on him and the devastated chemistry in the team. And although the talks that Hamilton and Mercedes could not agree to are ones that don't align with his commitment on the track activities, Mercedes is the side that has leverage in the contract talks, and they're the ones that could effectively push Hamilton in the corner and make him sign the contract under their terms. You might think this would be very selfish from their side, considering how much Hamilton brought to the table, and you might think that it's not that big of a deal since both sides are constantly saying that a contract will be signed over the next couple of weeks, but that just hasn't happened yet. One of the reasons why is the complexity of the talks and ironing out the details, a field in which neither of the sides expected to meet resilience from the other side, but yet again, they did. And when talking about this, Hamilton went on to say, "We had a good meeting just recently. They are very complex contracts. It's not just a simple driving contract. Right now, I'm planning to be here and racing for a decent chunk of time. We have talked several times. We have a great relationship. It will get done when it's done. If that's next week, in a month's time, as long as it's done, I'm not really bothered." Lewis Hamilton is also known to support minorities all around the world, and he's part of Mercedes' own Accelerate 25 mission, one that aims to have at least 25% of its new employees from a minority community. On top of that, he has his own charity organisation, Mission 44, that helps kids get a college degree and a proper education in the underdeveloped countries in the world, among other things. The initial rumours at the beginning of this year were that Hamilton required his team to directly fund his charity organisation as part of their contract, and now it seems like the ambassadorial role will be the deal breaker between the two sides if neither of them is ready to let go a bit. The reports from sources close to Mercedes say that while both sides are very eager to put pen to paper as soon as possible, with this outcome likely happening during the Silverstone GP, the closest one that the team could call its home race, the team's and Hamilton's desires are miles apart on what to do next, and it might take some time until some of them breaks off and lifts the foot off the gas. Apart from the ambassadorial role, the push that Hamilton made for signing a new 5-year contract that would earn him £50 million per year is also something that does make Mercedes scratch their heads. After all, if we were to look at modern-day F1, especially in the last 2 years, Hamilton's achievements were not that big compared to Russell's, and if the team would pay this amount of money, they would have an angered driver right next to him that's doing as much, if not better, than Hamilton in terms of race pace and qualifying performance. But it's worth mentioning that Russell is yet to achieve nearly what Hamilton did in the sport, so having such an experienced driver, a 7-time world champion, in your garage is definitely a feature that you need to pay for. David Croft also shared his point of view as to why the contract between Hamilton and Mercedes is still being delayed at this point, and when talking about it, the Sky F1 pundit went on to say, "The devil is in the detail. Lewis wants to stay at Mercedes. Mercedes wants to stay with him. It will get done. It won't be about money. It will be about support for the Hamilton Commission, support with the various things Lewis wants to do, tie-ups in the future, maybe an ambassadorial role. There will be lots of different things that need sorting out, but it will get done. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets done at Silverstone. That would be a logical thing." Hamilton is pushing for the ambassadorial role, just like the legend Mika Häkkinen did once for Mercedes, and just like David Coulthard is still doing the same for Red Bull. So it's only natural for Mercedes to be joyful that Hamilton would want to promote their brand on the outside and through his organisations. However, with the team struggling to get back to the top in the sport, this might not be the most optimised question in their heads, and definitely not the most prioritised. But in Hamilton's head, if it doesn't get fixed soon, these issues could prevail, and an unwanted turmoil of events between both sides is definitely on the brink of happening.